What's up everybody, my name is Dwight and welcome back to GeForce Garage. Today we have Garrison Novak of HeavyG Mods with the latest QuakeCon winning build that he's called Yes Dear. Well, hey Garrison, welcome to GeForce Garage.
Thanks for having me.
So you need to tell me why this is called Yes Dear.
So this build is called Yes Dear because it's actually a build that I made for my wife. This is her personal computer. When we originally built the air-cooled computer, I noticed that the chassis was pretty big and I just couldn't let it get away from me that this would be a great computer to build a custom loop water-cooled system in it.
It feels like you kind of got a little carried away, but you know, maybe for the better because it looks beautiful. Can you tell me a little bit about the mods that you did to the case?
I sure can. The first thing was the water cooling loop. So before we did any of the cosmetic mods, I really wanted to make sure that I had a very thoughtful loop. And what I mean by a thoughtful loop is I wanted it to be organized. I didn't want it to have a ton of clutter with tubes going back and forth and things like that that make it difficult to service because I tend to give her a lot of hand-me-down hardware and upgrades and things like that. So thinking about things like I need to be able to access the memory, I need to be able to easily access all of the M.2 drives. If I want to drain it and pull the GPU loop out, is it a 2-hour job or is it a 2 to 3 day job? This is a pretty much an all black case and my wife didn't want me doing anything crazy to the outside cutting and painting. So most of it is internal mods, so cosmetic internal mods. But on a blackout build, sometimes it's hard to come up with a theme. I knew that I wanted to eventually get this to, maybe I could bring it to QuakeCon as a showpiece or enter in the mod contest. So how do I do that where it looks very tastefully done and doesn't look like the theme is like out of place? If you look at the inside of the case, you can see there's a lot of triangular and polygon shapes that are built into a lot of the modifications. I took that from some of the actual design elements of the case, specifically this front panel of the Fractal Meshify 2 case.
Okay, well it's one thing to actually water cool a PC, but it's another thing to make it a full-on case mod. So let's start with the power supply shroud. How did you go about making that?
Putting together the entire power supply shroud was over 250 individually cut pieces of acrylic. So very, very, very time consuming to put together, but once it was created, now again, going back to the whole serviceability concept, the whole piece can come out as one piece. So if I need to go in and clean and dust, I can just unplug it, pull the whole shroud out, do my cleaning, put it back in and rehook the wires and we're good to go.
Well, I think you did an incredible job with the actual aesthetics. It's a beautiful case, beautiful build, but what are the actual specs of the PC?
Since this is my wife's gaming PC, we went with some of the parts that we already had. She was already on an AM4 platform, so the specs itself on the CPU and board are a little bit dated, but they are more than enough for what she needs. We've got the best of the best from AM4 with a 5800X3D. We've got an X570 motherboard. I've got 6 terabytes worth of Gen 4 M.2 storage. On the GPU front, I was very purposeful with what GPU we put in here. It is a GeForce RTX 5080 from PNY, and specifically this GPU was picked because of its small PCB footprint. I was looking for a relatively small water block, so it didn't interfere with the screen and some of the other design elements inside the case. So it was a great selection and water blocks were available for it. From the power supply standpoint, I've got a 1000 watt Seasonic Prime PSU, and for cables, I've got a CableMod black kit for all of my cables. And lastly, for the water cooling components, the majority of them are Alphacool. Part of that was because it was a lot of what I already had in my inventory or what I could find at a discount. The CPU water block that I found was a clearance that I was able to pick up very affordable. The GPU water block happened to be Alphacool, and I specifically chose that Reservoir combo because I loved the way it looked.
Thank you very much, Garrison, for coming by. I love seeing the creativity in your builds, and I can't wait to see what's going on in QuakeCon this year. If you guys enjoyed this type of video and would like to see more, hit that subscribe button down below, and I'll see you for the next one.